All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at Extreme Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. Extreme Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. Extreme Scoop's company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. Extremescoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com. All right, we're back and we're live once again. How's it going, everybody? Well, okay, so we are back. We're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. And when I look into the chat, I see Suki's in, Bill's in the house, Barb, Chris, Jersey Digmore, Kent. Looks like we've got them dropping right in. Mike, welcome. And it does look like Bill says he's doing better. Great to hear. At least he's stepping the right direction, right? That's the important part. Definitely the important part. So, we're here on Sundays. We're here on Wednesdays. Powers to be allowing. Oh, 8 p.m. Eastern. Always 8 p.m. Eastern. As long as things can be helped. Anyway. But that's the way it goes. I mean, we did have our little snafu there a couple of shows back that we were supposed to have Kent on, but we had that power outage right before we went live. So at least he was gracious enough to reschedule and come back for the following show, which was Wednesday's show. And had some great stories to share with us. He definitely did. Good time, definitely a pleasure to speak with. And Barb, I believe, won a contest Wednesday while Kent was on with us. So congratulations once again to her. Also, would like to take a moment and mention our friends here at Extreme Scoops. Remember, if you order, limited time offer, but if you order, make sure to mention in a message to them, an email to them after your order. I'm sure you'll need to include your order information. that you heard about them right here through Josh Kimmel or Beyond Sight and Sound, and you will receive a free gift. Very cool of John to do. But like I said, that's a limited offer, limited time availability. Who knows how long that's going to last. So if you're going to order and try to utilize your free gift, make sure to order soon. Great scoops, 14 gauge, stainless steel, very rugged, very nice, actually. And like I said, we'll be hearing more about them in the future. I was going to try, we've got the video up about it, a little bit of a video about the scoops, and I was going to try to get an article out about it as well, but we're going to forego that for the time being because of the kind of hectic week that we've been having here. And, the article will be coming up in the future as well, I guess we'll say. And it will be interesting to hear more about those scoops. They do seem to be very nice. I know I've been using it for a while, and very impressed. Very impressed. Actually, had I had my way about it, I would have been back out in the water again this week. But, like many on Facebook have seen, the other night, apparently, we got a visit from an uninvited guest, we'll say. That was quite an interesting experience to wake up to. And we're still kind of dealing with that. And then the same day, I also got called out to adopt a highway, so to speak. Yeah, Boy Scouts didn't have nothing on this one. It's clean now. Also, I see the man with the plan, the dealer of choice, Mr. Chuck Smalley in the house. Shooters and Prospectors on Facebook. You guys and gals all know, you've heard the drill before, but really, if you're looking for a good, reputable dealer, check him out. Go by, check out the Facebook page, and drop him a like if you haven't already. I'm sure he really appreciates that, and we appreciate what he does for the hobby as well. And I see the Ohio Relic Hunter is in. Mr. Bill himself, along with Pear. Nice. Good to see, good to see. And, actually, I was... Oh, and Mark's in as well. Welcome. Actually, I was doing some Bill impersonations again tonight. Our friends over at Flash in the Pan went live, and I dropped in to say hello, and once again was mistaken for Bill. We seem to have that happen a lot to both of us. Some people will mistake him for me, or me for him. It's alright, though. I mean, hey, if I'm going to be confused with somebody, at least I'm confused with one of the good guys out there. But we set him straight this time, Bill. I think I finally got it through to him that, that you're you and I'm me. So, hey, that's the way it goes. Definitely the way it goes. Let's see here. Okay. Nice message there from Chuck in the chat. And, let's see, I thought I saw... Yeah, Bill says we're twins. Nice. So, moving on, I've kind of had a couple of conversations here in the recent past, I guess you could say. So that brings up the title of tonight's show. Obviously, we're open lines tonight. We can get some people to call in, maybe share some stories, or maybe even their opinions of what do you do? You know, many of us have been in the situation before where, you know, we're out there hunting, we've got headphones on, and I don't know. Maybe some people think that it's a sign of weakness. It makes us a target in the field because they think that we won't hear them approaching us, possibly. But for you guys and gals in the chat, you know as well as I do, you've got to stay aware of your surroundings. And obviously here, I love to use the Detector Pro line of headphones. And they're great. They sound great, they're very comfortable, and they block a lot of ambient noise. So I'm glad I had the Grey Ghost XP the other day when I adopted the Highway. Really cut down that ambient noise. But that being said, even with those, you can still hear what's going on if you're staying aware of your surroundings. Whether you're listening through the headphones or maybe you hunt with the style of having one cup off the ear, so to speak. Either way, we hear these people sneaking up on us or approaching us, depending. I mean, sometimes they are genuinely just approaching because they're curious or they have questions. Maybe they need assistance. And that's great. Many of us are very, very willing to lend a hand and help out because why? That's the kind of people we are. That's the kind of community we are. We try to help out when we can, where we can, how we can. It's because everybody's great people in the hobby. So some of them genuinely do just have some questions. Maybe they're interested in the hobby, want to get into the hobby, or maybe you're out on a beach hunting and they see you and they go, "Oh, thank God you're here. I just lost my ring or my car keys or whatever. Can you help? My cell phone." Well, then we're right there at the time, and we have that option that we can help them. So maybe we do. Or maybe you're lucky enough that you've already found that lost item and you've already got it in your pouch. If you do, great. As long as they can describe it to you. Or hopefully that's what you do. Do you just hand it right over? See, that's the thing. Once it hits the pouch, who owns it? Good question, right? And I'm sure that the general consensus from the chat would be, we do. Earl's in, welcome. Cody's in, welcome. Because the items that we find, unfortunately, you know, our hobby does kind of exist on, feed on, however you want to look at it, others' misfortunes, because for us to find it, somebody had to lose it. Whether it was intentional or unintentional, whatever, that's neither here nor there. Either way, when we run across it, and we find it, we recover it, we drop it into our pouch and head off to the next target, whose item is that? That's your item. You found it. You recovered it. So essentially, wouldn't you think it's well, for lack of a better term, in many cases, I guess you could say that that particular item, whether it's a coin, a piece of jewelry, a set of car keys, whatever, what have you, essentially could be considered abandoned property, and you've just recovered it. Therefore, now the item is your property. It's yours to do with as you see fit what you want to do with it. Do you keep it? Do you sell it? Do you give it away? Maybe you take it home and you give it to the granddaughter or the wife or the sister or, the son, the nephew, whatever. but you still do with it what you see fit. For the items that we find that can't be returned. We'll put it that way. Now, for the items that we find that can be returned, or potentially returned, like a class ring, many of you, I'm sure, try to do due diligence, we'll say, or your part, whether it's on your own or with a little help from our friends on Facebook. Try to do the research to locate the owner and return the ring. That's great. Many of us have had that opportunity. For those who haven't, I always, to each their own if you don't want to, but I still recommend that everyone should do it at least once for the experience. After that, if you think, hey, it's finders keepers, it's all mine. Well, there you go. Continue on. Rock on with it. Be the looter and pillager like some people envision us to be or whatever. And that's fine. To each their own. When I can return them, I try to. And that's all well and good. But then there's the other side of the equation. What if these people are sneaking up to you or approaching you with not so respectable reasons or ill intentions? Like maybe they see you out there on the beach or in the water or in the park, whatever, and they just assume that you have a piece of jewelry in your pouch. Now they're going to try to pull a fast one on you. Hey, I just lost my ring. You've got it. In the hopes that maybe it's just a shot in the dark, but maybe you do have a ring on you. Do you just say, oh yeah, okay, well, this must be yours, and hand it right over to them? I'm doubtful. I don't think that you would. Looking at the names in the chat, obviously many of us, many of the names that I see in there, this is not your first time to the show, nor your first time to the rodeo, so to speak, as far as hunting. You're seasoned hunters. Some may even be able to be considered as veterans of the hobby. Long-timers. Got some time under the belt. Seen quite a few miles with the coil. So I'm sure that many of you are not naive enough, we'll say, to just say, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, I do have a ring in my pouch, and you just mentioned you lost one, so it must be yours, and hand it right over to them, correct? Something to think about. What do you do to safeguard yourself? How do we, as hunters out there, how do we protect ourselves? That find is ours. Unless, like I said, it can legitimately be returned. Think about that. Bob's in. Welcome. You got to think about that and take it with proper context. I'm not saying, we shouldn't give anything back. Because absolutely we should. That's part of our burden, in a sense, to keep the hobby in a good light. And to show people that we're out there doing good things and the right things and being professional, things of that nature. But we also have to safeguard ourselves, too, in not just handing it out haphazardly or without the proper information, and basically, in the long run, then you lose. if you've got a nice gold ring in your pouch, or nice gold bracelet, necklace, whatever. I mean, we've all been hopefully fortunate enough to find such things at some point in time under our coil, and I'll be the first to admit they look great in the display case. I'm sure you all know too. You've seen it too. So what are some of the things that you do to try and protect yourself or safeguard yourself in situations like that? It'd be interesting to hear about. Give us a call. Let us know. Share it in the chat. Something like that. Obviously, HomeFinder's still on furlough, but I'm sure Barb or Bill can drop the call-in number in there, 419-549-5744, since it is open lines tonight. And let's take that a step further. I've had the conversation with a couple of people, too, that sometimes they're not just coming up trying to pull a fast one on you. Sometimes they have serious ill intentions. Sometimes it's just the way they approach you. Sometimes they genuinely have ill intentions to begin with. I can remember specifically a few years ago, and some of you in the chat may have seen that post going around a few years back. We'll take this call first. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, it's Chuck. How's it going, Chuck?
Good, sir. Good, sir. You and I spoke about this before. Once I think it's in your pocket, it's yours until proven otherwise. And I haven't had that happen, but I've had friends that literally were in the water down in Florida, and he dug a ring, put it in his pouch. The guy had seen him dig it, and he and his wife started yelling, he's got my ring, he found my ring, out loud. And, you know, he was in a pickle at that point because he got people all over on the beach. It was crowded.
Right, now everybody's staring, I'm sure.
Sure. And you know, I asked him how he handled it, and he said, well, first order of business, he said, I asked the lady, what kind of ring is it? Oh, it's a diamond ring. Well, no, you're wrong. And he walked away. He didn't get it out of the pouch. It was just a gold band, but the guy kept kind of bugging him, following him, and he just told the guy, he said, she said it was a diamond ring. It is not a diamond ring. There's no stones in it, and he walked on. But people will try about anything anymore, the way it looks like, you know.
Absolutely.
I think in your hand, in your pocket, it's yours until you either research it like a class ring and give it back to the owner, or if there's something in the ring that can lead you to the real owners, then, you know, that's a thing of heart that you try to find and give this stuff back to people.
Right, yeah. I mean, at that point, then that's kind of a moral, a morality or an ethical point of view that person has to cross that road when they get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's an ethics thing. If they contact you, which they do through RingFinder, if your local area, like they contact me, I'm not on RingFinder. I'm pretty well known through the area, and people contact me. Even Darwin sends people to me and other people in the club up to go find stuff and that type of thing. I just haven't broke down to give somebody $25 a year to put my name up that I go find rings for.
Right.
I'm sorry. Good gig, though, he's got going, I'll tell you that. But with all that said, what is ethical when people come at you in that manner and put you in a position like that?
Yeah, exactly. And I would say at that point that particular hunter did the best thing he could by, you know, not just handing it over. And more importantly, the way it sounds, he just, once everybody's pointing and looking and all of that, it sounds like he just kind of packed up and got out of Dodge.
Yep. And I've had a group of 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds follow me around, and I was showing them how to detect. But every time I roll something out, I had hands down in there. And after a while, they got to be kind of a pain. And so I just tuned up, dug them a whole bunch of pull tabs and chunk of aluminum. I handed them that and said, go throw that away. Well, they tired of that in a hurry, because with the detectors we have today, you can pretty much tell coin or ring or something good versus garbage. And after you hand out garbage you go throw away, they leave.
Right, they kind of lose interest pretty fast, I would think.
They do, and I've seen several other people posting up how they take care of it, showing different garbage, that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't whip out the best thing I found during the day and have them question different things. So, and if anybody's got any stories, call in, because it can become a problem. And then there is a protection thing of yourself. I mean, when you're out there, I've had a couple run-ins out there, and that were dicey, and different things like that, and self-protection, back away and get out of there, and just be safe. Always be aware of what's going on around you, because you get zoned in. You got a pair of headphones on, and if you're kind of in a remote area type thing, somebody walks up on you, you can be kind of in a bad position at times, and I had that happen one time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you would recall, or if you had ever heard about that particular gentleman, but you may recall a few years back, the price of gold really skyrocketed.
Yes.
And that made it a rough time for the beach and water hunters. And there was a post that's been a few years back where a beach and water hunter from Hawaii had been out hunting the surf, the shallow water and everything with his Excalibur, and two guys come up to him on the beach and caught him right there on the beach, was going to take his finds and everything else, and he took quite a beating to keep a hold of his pouch and his Excalibur. Actually, they put him in the hospital for a few days.
Oh boy.
And that's why I say, they may not necessarily know what you have in your pouch, but it's just the idea, there's a treasure hunter, he has treasure, and then look what this guy got, just trying to keep a hold of what was rightfully his.
That's right. And, just be aware of what's going on around you, and there's always a little bit of safety in numbers. You got 2, 3 of you kind of hunting close together. If you're in an area that has some dicey people around,
right.
You have everybody's back. So I just say a shout out to Gordon Matson's on there. Hi, he's saying hi to us.
Oh yeah, Gordon's in the house. World of Tokens.
Gordon's in the house. Wendy and Deb. There's some others rolling in here.
Oh well, welcome.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, good deal. Good to see, definitely. And, I've even got one myself where I had been out just a couple of weeks ago, actually, and found a nice, it was a nice silver ring. There really wasn't many people around that day, and I was discreet. When I saw that there was a ring in the scoop, I dropped the scoop back under the water level, because I was far enough into the water where I was probably just over my waist, and took the ring out of the scoop in the water and moved it to my water pouch then. So nobody saw me recover the ring. But then a couple of days later, I go back out. There's a few people out there swimming and stuff, and I'm starting to look around, and I get two of them, two teenagers come up to me, and they're trying to holler and things like that, so I just turn and go the other way, because it's easy to act like you don't hear anything with the headphones on.
That's right.
Until they continued to be more persistent, and then I happened to overhear one kid tell the other, hit him. Well, at that point, it's like, okay, wait a minute, guys. We're not playing this game. you've had to have seen the scoop. I've got an easy 4 to 6 foot reach. Don't come at me. But, I just stopped and turned around immediately to face him head on and asked him, said, "Can I help you?" And right away, the one kid starts going into this story about how he lost his ring. I must have it. Meanwhile, he's telling his buddy that I took his ring. Well, I got no idea who these people are. I didn't take anybody's ring. But the way that I was approached is definitely not the right way to approach a person to begin with. And I thought, well, we'll see. What kind of a ring did you lose? And they just said, well, it was a round one.
And there you go.
They're all round.
Well, it's with the popularity of our hobby and the number of people out there all the time. I mean, and I'm sure Mark can attest to the beach hunters. There's miles of them.
Oh, yeah.
And certain areas in my area, I can just about guarantee you on certain days I can go to a couple different places and I'll see one or two there. At least you get down the beaches and you'll run into, I've been on both coasts during the wintertime, and it's almost like we got a meet going on out there.
Yeah, exactly. Some of these beaches, especially when you get to the popular travel destinations, so to speak, you get out on those popular beaches that are heavily used, it's nothing to see 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 guys out there swinging coils, walking along the beach. So a lot of people think, what's going on here? Is this an organized event or what? But it's just all the locals know where to go.
Correct. And, it's going to, and, I've heard more this year than I have in a long time. Metal detectors getting stolen out of vehicles. Guys are parking their rigs. They got a spare one in the back. They're out detecting, come back. Their detectors, the car was broke into, things like that. Even a good friend of mine, Chicago Ron, he had one stolen 2 years ago. Different things like that. It pays folks to out of sight, out of mind with your spare detector, keep them covered and down and your equipment in there, because most of us, a good portion of us, will travel with a backup machine. And maybe an extra pinpoint or another equipment with you, and you want to just make sure things are locked up tight and put in an area that's not remote. I know people, even in England, have had their cars broken into and had things stolen out of the car because the people are well off from where the car was. They just crack the window out and take what they want.
Right. Or, even at home.
And they do have serial numbers. I make a suggestion to everybody. I've got my serial numbers off my machines. And biggest reason, I've got the boxes, the MineLab boxes. Many of them have the serial number right on the box, too. At least you got a serial number. You can put the word out to the pawn shops, things like that. If somebody steals that equipment.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just like with the people who say, oh, well, you've got my ring. Somebody steals our gear, that serial number could be the difference between us proving ownership and getting it back or not.
That's right. Barb just put up, somebody even had their Civil War maps and stuff stolen from a car. So, it's and these kids between 11 and 17, through our area right now, we've got a thing going on where they're stealing cars. And they're walking away scot-free. They're literally, they don't take them to jail anymore. They release them to mom and dad. And they literally had one on the news say, well, if you don't want to steal a car, don't leave your keys in it. Well, to a point, don't leave your keys in it, but these guys are getting away with it. It's a crazy thing that's been going on. I'm not talking one or two. I'm talking over 500 cars in the past year around this area.
Wow. See, and that's the thing. Yeah, I get it. You don't want your car stolen. Well, it helps if you don't leave the keys in it. But yeah, at the same time, too, these people that are doing these things need to realize and learn that there's cause and effect for your actions. And when they don't get that, they go, oh, well, hey, I got away with it. They just slapped me on the wrist. So it ain't going to hurt to go out and do it again. What's it going to hurt? If I get caught, they'll just slap me on the wrist again.
That's right. That's right. But, you know, you got to protect yourself out there, and when you do find something, you know, we're so connected anymore. We have Facebook. We like to show off what we find. And the more that's showing off, the more other people are seeing it. So it's in their mind, this guy is finding scoopfuls of rings wherever he goes. And so these people take it into their mind saying, well, we'll just go up and tell them that's my ring and get it. And it's like, oh, well, just don't say anything. I mean, I haven't found anything today. I got a couple quarters, that's it, or whatever. But some of them actually, I've seen it on the beach, hawk you a bit. They watch you closely, you know.
Oh, so yeah, they do.
When they pull out the thing to do a video, whatever camera you may have, they figure we got something good and that's mine, and that's happened to several people. I've heard that before, and they get in an argument.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
look, he's got his camera out. He must have a good find.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do the same thing, but when I'm out in private areas or parks or something well away from, maybe I'll post a few things. I don't post everything. I got night-hawked over a deal like that a couple of years ago. Guy was sneaking into an area that I had sole permission on. I couldn't even take anybody else out there for the first couple of years I had it, and I was actually posting up some nice seateds and things I was finding, and stupid, you know, with the technology on my part, I was stupid. You know, you can get in there and look up the picture, and it's giving you the coordinates on GPS with your GPS turned on.
Right. Yeah, that's really unfortunate that people do that, and I do recall hearing about that. You had made some very nice finds out of there, but
yes, well, I still hunt it, but I don't post anything I find there anymore. Yeah. I just, you know, that type of stuff. But when you're starting to get bus coins and you're starting to get large scents early, and flowing hair scents come out of there and all kinds of different stuff, that's one of the oldest areas in my locale you can hunt. And I've taken Jesse up there and Frank now a little bit, and because he's allowed me to do that, and we've made some nice finds, but we don't post it. We don't talk about that site.
Right, yeah, because, I mean, many of us out there, we know we're watching the videos, we're watching the pictures, and especially if you're local to the person that's posting that stuff, you know, we're watching going, oh, yeah, I bet I know where they're at. Yeah. It's just anyway, the game we all play.
I've got an announcement here from Mr. Ronnie DeGhetto. I talked to him the other day. We were supposed to see those waterproof headphones in. He was.
That's right.
Around the first of the month, but that has now been delayed 2 weeks. I don't know if the exact reasoning, something to do, and I'm quite sure as it comes through customs, that's one of the holdups.
Yes, I would tend to side towards that conclusion as well. Sometimes they do get held up a little bit there. We've seen it happen with coils and detectors and pinpointers, so why not headphones?
Yep. So that's one thing. And if anybody is looking for a set of waterproofs, I do, and you can't live without them, I do have one set of the Mind Labs in. And that type of thing out there. So, and it's still been rolling along. The 800s, they're starting to, you're seeing a few more out there, a little more. Demand's still there for it. And that is a good little detector. It's proven itself to me, but it's not the step above a 3030 yet. But I've been using it, and I've actually had it on the beach the other day. That's another one I didn't take pictures of because I don't want anybody to know that I'm hunting an old swim hole on the Mississippi River that's pretty easily accessible, and most people don't know it still survives. And I've been getting, actually, I got some wheat pennies and some other stuff out the other day. I have found rings there, but I found a, not Palmolive, what was the name of that soap? Good for 15 cents off on 3 bars of soap, a 1926 token. And it was actually in pretty good shape. I will take a picture and post it up here from the house. And then, Mark, then you'll have my GPS on that, buddy.
And did you say it wasn't Palmolive?
No.
What was some of them other ones? Crystal Cake, maybe?
I got to go up. It's up in my cleanup area, and I can walk up there and read it to you. It's got a big thing on the back out for the vendor, how to recover his money for turning his hand. Even it's like I'd never seen one with quite that instruction on it before. And,
I've seen some that are very, very descriptive as far as instructions to redeem, like the Crystal Cake ones. I think they were kind of a square or octagonal shaped token that was very, very explaining on the directions to redeem.
Cool. But anyway, I did get that token, and buck or two in 60s quarters. It was a large swim area, and of course the EPA then ruled that the water quality of the Mississippi River couldn't be a public swim area anymore.
Yeah, it sounds like you're kind of in the same boat we are.
Yeah.
They tell us our microtoxin levels are coming down, but they're still too high.
Yeah. So that's about it. Barb was going to call in. I was going to congratulate her. She starts, I think, the way I read it, tomorrow.
Yes, she signs her contract tomorrow.
Excellent. Good for you.
Yeah, she was very excited about that. The way it sounds, she's really looking forward to this one. Really enjoys the people so far.
Cool. So that's about all I got. Other, the announcement from Ronnie, and they're coming, but there's a tie-up somewhere on the way in, and hope to have. I know Mark wants a set. There's several others have contacted me that want sets of the Gray Ghosts for the Equinox series.
Oh, well, that's always good to hear that they're contacting you then.
Yep. So he said just let people know they're on the way.
Right. And 2 weeks, really, that's not that bad as long as they come through with that then and not delayed again, hopefully, or anything. And I'm sure patience is a virtue, but people will appreciate waiting to get the quality headphones for the Equinox. We've actually got Barb on with us, Chuck.
Oh, good. There's the Indian headhunter.
Oh, thanks for the engine. I love it.
Well, I scratched my head. I've seen a couple people. I have one guy that's detected for 3 years, 4 years. In our area, you can find Indian head pennies, trust me. But you can find mercury dimes, too. He's never found a mercury dime. He's found Roosevelt dimes, silver, but he's never found a mercury. And I just scratched my head, and I got with him, and he's running a White's 3i, I think it is.
Oh, the V3i?
V3i, yeah. And so, a little while back, I slapped a 30-30 in his hand. I said, if you don't find a Merc where I got you today, I won't believe it, because they're here. I know they're still here. And so I messed around with that V3i, and I had never really ran one. And 15 minutes, I had 2 Mercs with it. He come up with and he looked at me, and I said, well, maybe you need a little class on your V3i. He said, no, I didn't find a mercury dime. He had an 01 barber dime. So he was happy.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Hey, you never know. Maybe he'll contact you and order a CTX.
Well, he's still trying to learn that V3i. He's solid in the whites, which is fine. And it's always, with any major detector, it's a learning curve.
Absolutely.
And So he's trying to work all that out, and it looks like we're about to get a storm here. I walked out. I got to find it. But it's blowing up some good dark clouds anyway. I just want the rain.
Right.
It's so dry.
Well, hopefully, I seen where you got some rain earlier this morning. Hopefully that kind of gave the ground a good soaking and loosened it up a bit for you.
We got about 1/10 of an inch. It wasn't enough really to do anything.
Right, yeah, that's not really enough to help.
No. So, you get to meet all the top echelon people, it sounded like, Barb.
I'm sorry.
Is she still with us?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Chat about the red tide and how the turtles are dying, and I'm just sad.
Nah.
There you go.
Well, Chuck said the way it sounded, Barb, you got to meet all the upper echelon there a little while ago.
No,
Looking for
I
your
do
job.
that tomorrow.
Oh.
Yes, no, I had my interview with the dean, 4 nursing instructors, somebody that wasn't happy. They just never smiled. They must be from HR. And somebody from another department. And so they offered me the job, and then they checked my references the next day, which I thought was funny as hell.
Right, we'll offer her the job and then check references.
They did. I interviewed on Tuesday. They offered me the job on Wednesday, and Thursday somebody PMs me and says, call me. North Georgia just called, and I call, and she's like, they love you. I just got off the phone with them, so I PM'd my other 2 references, telling them, North Georgia's checking my references, so answer your phone. And they ended up calling all of them that day. And now, tomorrow, I have to go meet the vice president and the president. And if that goes okay, then I get to sign a contract.
Well, sounds like everything's moving along then.
And already told, I got to check my email tonight. I was emailed, the dean sent me an email and sent it to all of the nursing faculty so they'd have my email, and for one of them to send me their phone number, so I got to check and get that phone number, for me to text them after I sign my contract. So that sounds pretty good.
I would say that sounds fairly concrete.
Yeah.
That sounds about as solid as the dirt that Chuck's trying to dig in.
Yeah, at least I can dig. I did go out digging today. I found a bunch of clad, and the whole mason jar lid right on the edge of the river. The river was cranking. I got in it was so freaking cold. I was like, holy Jesus. But I was going to do some snorkeling and get out there with the AT Pro, but it was cranking. I got about 3-4 feet out, and it was all you could do to stand. So I'm like, safety first, out of the water.
There you go. Yeah, live to dig another day.
Exactly. Yes. Especially where, it says no trespassing, but they've told me I can metal detect there, but they don't, they're only here a couple times a year. So there was literally no one around. I'm like, no, let's get out.
There you go.
Cool.
Yeah. So you must have had the AT Pro with you then.
Well, I took it in the dais, but I was in the river with the AT Pro.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think you had a waterproof kit for the dais, so I figured you were using your Pro.
Yeah, but I can tell you what, with this, people, when I found that 9-karat gold, white gold bracelet and charms, the bracelet was junk, but the charms are worth probably $600 to $800.
Nice haul.
When I dug it, I looked at it, and I was like, just pick it up and put it in your pocket and shut your mouth.
Right, yeah, I mean, we all want to look at it, but the best thing to do is just get that thing scurried away real quick and look at it when you get home. There's plenty of time after the hunt.
Hey, Barb?
Yeah?
I just saw a post about you taking your Deus out, and maybe you should have drowned it to put it out of its misery.
Oh,
I'm not mentioning any names, Mark. Oops.
Nice.
Mark, I love Mark, and him and I just have this repertoire that we go through and whatever. But I found that 9-karat gold with my Deus on the beach, and the tide had just gone out, and I went, oh crap, I got 20 more feet of beach when I turned around to head back and started zigzagging and found that, and I knew it was something. I just grabbed it, stuck it in my pocket, sand and all, pinpointed, there was another piece of chain, put it in my pocket, and just went up the beach, and we got maybe a tenth of a mile up, and my sister's like, you find anything? I said, shut up. And I pulled it out of my pocket. She looked at it. I put it back in. She said, are you freaking kidding me? I went, no. And she goes, why didn't you say something? I said, 'cause you never say something when you find something good, unless you're at DIV or any other organized hunt. You can freaking scream, because nobody can say they lost that Civil War bullet or that box plate or breastplate.
Exactly. You should tell her she's going to have to learn a pirate's etiquette.
Exactly. And I found my large set. I just laid on the ground and went, yes, and screamed. It was like, I was videoing and going just loud. And you can do that there because, you know, the only thing somebody's going to say is, what did you find, Barb? Something good? Where on a beach in a park, you just got to put it in your pocket and walk the heck away.
Absolutely. Every time I find a diamond ring, it's out of the ground maybe 30 seconds before it's into my pocket, and that's the last that I see it until I get home. I don't even look to try and double check, well, am I sure that's what it is? Nothing. I just wait till I get home and then look it over, and it's kind of like double treasure then, because then you're like, well, I'll be damned. It is real. Well, that's pretty cool. Good find.
Exactly. That was me with the bracelet. It was like I threw it in my pocket. It rang up gold. And then when it was silver colored, I was like, oh, junk. And it's silver plate. Threw it in my pocket. Never thought a thing about it. I actually washed it off in the hotel in a cup of water. Don't wash anything in the sink, guys. Throw it in a cup of water, jiggle it around, take it out, and I threw it in my change purse, and it was there a month before I thought, well, let me look and see if it's junk, and there's the hallmarks for 9-karat white gold. And I'm like, son of a, you know what?
Oh,
it's
well,
freaking real.
You're better than I am then, because that last diamond ring I got, I was checking it as soon as I got home. Other than the fact about the
in Florida at a conference, so I threw it in my change purse and I forgot about it.
Well, okay, I can see that. Of course, I did wait until the following morning to check the diamonds. I just I hadn't gotten the diamond tester out that night to check it, but yeah, I wouldn't have waited a month to do it, but I can see where you could have forgotten about it then.
I really thought it was silver plate. It rang up gold, and then it was, white gold. And so, the little inexperienced, and my brain's going, well, hell, it ain't gold. It's got to be junk.
Yeah, see? So there you go. What did you learn from this?
Yeah, I learned to, when you find something that you think is good, and check it out right away. And but now I have those lovely charms on a bracelet, a new bracelet, because the bracelet was junk. And maybe I'll wear that tomorrow to my interview.
There you go. And also
There
it
you go.
pays to check the markings because usually the good pieces are stamped, but that does not mean that all good pieces are stamped or that all stamps
Yeah,
are legitimate.
What's weird is the bracelet had a bunch of funky hallmarks, and then what is 9 karat white gold? 425 or something like that? I had to Google it.
Yeah, I can't remember the decimal breakdown because normally this was 9 karat gold, but it had the decimal marking?
It has like 425 or something like that on it. And I Googled it, and it's like, no, it's 9 karat white gold. And all of the charms have DIA on it. Yeah,
Interesting.
it's from Europe, so it's like weird.
Yeah, see, and that's what I was gonna say, because a lot of times, if it's got the decimal marking on it for a gold stamp, it's European or foreign gold. Usually, most of the time, anyway, to the best of my knowledge, here in the States, it's always got the carat marking.
Right, and it didn't. It was European, and when I took it to my jeweler to see if he could fix the bracelet, he was shocked because I tried to put it back together. I have all the tools, and the thing is falling apart in pieces. And when I took it to him, I said, is there any way you can fix this? And he looked, he said, Barb, I have never seen this from Europe. I've seen this crap in the U.S. He said, these are hollow links that have not been soldered together. He said they put all their money into the charms. This bracelet is junk. He said it's just worth the melt value. Do not fix it. You will be in here every time you turn around getting this fixed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Somebody put an awful lot of money into fancy and not enough into the bracelet to put it on.
And that's why they lost it. And it
exactly.
Was, like the tide had gone out maybe 20 feet. We walked, my sister and I, maybe a mile and turned around. And, of course, we were hitting up in the dry sand. She was looking for shells. I'm looking for money, whatever. And when she said, okay, let's turn around, I turned around and I went, oh, my God, look at all this beach that's here. And zoomed right down into the wet sand. And I can tell you the Deus works great in wet sand. Compared to the Pro, I've used them both for years. And I don't think I was down there 5 minutes when bam.
Right. Well, and unfortunately, around the salt water like that, you'll see that happen a lot with that junk jewelry. It just can't hold up to the elements.
Oh, I think
just a second, I'm going to interrupt. Mark posted this up. The numbers on rings are super tiny. Yes, we can't read them when we're in the field without a glass. But if you're reading 42.5 or 92.5, if it's 42.5, the ring's 42.5% gold, which is pretty close to your 8-9 carat. And then 92.5 is your silver, Barb.
Okay.
Yeah, now if it is a silver piece of jewelry, yeah, it will be stamped 925 or sterling.
Right. Well, it's definitely 9 karat white gold. My jeweler confirmed that. I mean, it's not a. I can't afford to buy anything in there. I did buy the bracelet from him.
Your 14 karat is 53.5%. So as you drop down, that percentage gets down into the 40s. 10 karat. Most of your 10 karat you see is a U.S. gold. You see 8-9 karat gold is generally English or foreign. I'm not saying all of it. Don't fry me here. And then when you start getting into the 22 karat, 18 karat, 18 is made U.S., 22 karat is generally foreign. They like the higher carat. And so it goes across the board. And then platinum, I've seen it marked PLAT. Then there's a diamond mark with I believe a K next to it. And there's several different things for platinum. And,
That's right.
There's quite the range of them, in fact. So, you pick up a ring, and sometimes it's a little darker gray versus a bright silver one. Check it out. Don't think you just got a silver one. It could be a platinum.
Absolutely.
And another thing, I was seeing Mark Hoover says that there may be a good hunt coming up. They're still in the planning works on it somewhere along the line. So I've been kind of scouting what everybody's got to say here. There's some stuff coming up. And I have one other thing. I've talked to Deb Smikowski from Mine Lab. She will get on one show with us. And I'm still waiting to hear back from Montpelier and see if we can get some of those guys on one night to talk archaeology with you. We just got to come up with a date. They're available, so I'm trying to bring a few more people on for you.
Ah, very nice. Yeah,
so,
I'll
be back out of here, and you guys have a great night. And thanks for having me on again, Josh, and all you do for me. And we'll be talking here about what we were talking about earlier. I'll try and get one out to you for some field testing and have some fun with it. And then hopefully Ronnie gets his waterproof headphones in. Those of you who need it and want it out there, I've got several of you. We'll keep you posted on that.
That's right. We're all watching and anxiously awaiting.
Yeah, we are. So I'll let you go. We'll talk to you later.
All right. You have a wonderful evening, Chuck, and thanks for the call.
You guys. Bye-bye.
Well, it was definitely a nice find you made there, Barb. That's for sure. And one to be proud of.
Yeah, and back to, is it ours or is it theirs? If there's a way to return something, please do it.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
My first ring I found on the beach was on Tybee Island. It was a men's, probably wedding band. It was titanium and other metals. And I can tell you, I checked, lost my stuff, and I went back, probably a year on rings. I checked TheRingFinders to see if anyone had reported losing a ring there. I spent hours on it and was unable to find who lost it, unfortunately. But at least give the effort, especially if you think it's I have lots of rings. I love my rings, even the junk rings.
Right.
But when a wedding band, I'm right in there looking, searching every page I can on the web, trying to see if I can find if somebody reported it lost.
Right. Right, because, I mean, for the more detail and information they can put inside that band, the better the chances are that they could possibly have that returned at a later point if it is lost and recovered. I mean, I had that diamond ring that I recently found. I had somebody ask me, well, are you going to return it? Well, unfortunately, when the ring's only stamped 10K, there's nothing there to go on. And that particular ring, for that style of setting and for where it was in the ground, it's probably been missing about 30 years. So that one's unfortunate. It can't be returned. But that's why they look nice in our display box, because we return the ones that we can, because we'll find more. And we can put those in the display, the ones that can't be returned.
Exactly. And I mean, I have one ring that if somebody came up to me in the park, I don't hit the volleyball court much because it gets hit by every kid in the neighborhood with a metal detector. And in all the years I have found, I think, one earring and one ring, a bunch of cards. And, but I found a ring. It's black. It's probably junk. but it's nice, and it's got the Lord's Prayer written around it. And if somebody came up to me and said, "Did you find this?" I'd be home in 5 minutes taking it back, you know.
Right, because there again, that is a ring that, even though there's not necessarily information about the owner, whoever lost that ring, I'm sure, can describe it to you with no doubt in your mind at that point that that ring was theirs.
Exactly. I do have a 1941 class ring, gold, with initials. However, the university I found it at, nobody graduated that year or the year before or the year after with those initials. And it has no school name, and so that's one of the things that'll just sit there in the case until I need money, and I'll go pawn it. You know, I hate to do that. It'll be a last-ditch thing, but
Right.
at some point you got to let it go, you know.
Right. Well, and you do have to be aware of what you got, like you said, with the one with the prayer around it. That's a ring that should be very easily described. And
Right.
like I was telling Chuck, the instance that I had there recently where the kid had told the other one hit him, you know, they started telling me about this ring, and then, you know, one story they say, "Oh, well, we lost it 3 years ago, but you've got it, you took it." And they couldn't describe it. They just said, "Well, it was a round ring." I said, "Well, they're all round." I said, "Was it a plain band or what?" And he says, "Yeah, it was a plain band." I said, "Well, if I find one, I'll holler for you." And he says, "Yeah, just holler for Jacob." And as I turn around to try and get away from them, then they start again about somebody named Connor. And I'm like, "Well, now wait a minute, you said Jacob." And they said, "Well, that's my brother. You want to holler for Connor, and it's got a design on it." I said, "Well, you just told me 10 minutes ago it was plain."
Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, okay, you know, this ain't happening. They're fishing, and I'm not biting.
Exactly. And, you know, I returned to class ring. God, I think I found that with my $350 a week after I started metal detecting in 2014. I returned that. It was 10-karat gold.
Nice.
I found it in my mother's yard. And then I returned the 3rd Cavalry Army ring to a neighbor.
That was cool.
And I just returned the dog tags to Miss Doris.
And that was just very cool. I was very pleased to hear that you were able to find her, and she was so happy, and that it meant so much to get them back.
So if you can, people, try. You know, of course, most wedding bands don't have an inscription. They may have something like "I love you dearly" or whatever. But if they don't have initials, but still, check Lost My Stuff, check TheRingFinders, especially if it's a gold diamond ring. If they lost it, it's going to be mapped, you know. Personally, I think if I found a $50,000 diamond ring, I don't care what was in it, I'd sell it. Or I'd call, I'm sorry, you know, it's just, I don't know, but, you know, I didn't want to return my first gold ring, but I did because my conscience wouldn't let me keep it. So I can say that and laugh, but if you can, especially a wedding band, if it's got initials, you know, try.
Right. Well,
I mean,
and there is another option, too, where if it is a very nice wedding band, you know, has a high-quality diamond in it, you also have the option of checking the number on the diamond, because that will trace back to the purchaser.
Oh, okay.
But you're running into some real high-dollar diamonds at that point.
Right. And so for the most part, I don't try to find any owners of rings except class rings, army rings, dog tags, things that you can actually, with hopefully little effort, find that person and get it back to them.
Right. Or if you get called to locate it, like the white gold wedding band that I returned a while back, obviously that's the only way that ring could have got there. They called me, they said they lost it, I come over, 5 minutes later, we've got it back, but it obviously had to be theirs. They put me in the spot.
Exactly. Cody said, I have a secret Hot Wheel collection. Actually...
Not anymore. He just told us.
No, I don't. Because I have a few cars, but I actually ran them as all of my cars that I've ever collected. There were tons of them. I gave away on New Year's Eve in one of our crazy contests, and Shannon Copeland picked all of the cars, and so Emily Copeland has my car collection.
Well, that's, a lot of mine usually get given away or whatever. I keep some of the Lesnies or Tootsie Toys around occasionally, but, it's all where they need to go and stuff like that. Sometimes it's better for them to have a new home.
Yeah, he actually had the choice of like 8 prizes, maybe more, and he went, I want the cars. I went, they're yours. And he's like, Emily's going to love them. She loves cars. And it was a ton of Hot Wheels.
Nice.
He's saying he'll trade some Hot Wheels for some engines. I posted one today that I found. My only Tootsie toy I gave to Lanny Pierce. He collects them. It was my dad's, and I'm sure my brother lost it. It was 1930s. And I'm like, if you love these things, you can have it. And I sent it to him. I sent my Boy Scout, my only Boy Scout, whatever, the little thing that goes on their tie.
Right, the neckerchief slide.
Whatever. Yes, I sent that to Mark Hoover because he collects those. And so, why keep things that, yes, it's cool, it's nice, but I got so much crap all around this house, and now I got to figure out how to get rid of it all.
Right. Well, and in terms of like sending the Tootsie toy to Lanny, he loves them. He will he'll take good care of it and all of that. And the neckerchief slide to Mark, he's going to respect it for what it is. So it's still being well cared for.
Exactly. And, I mean, it was they were cool finds. Yeah, my first Tootsie, yeah, my first slide. But it's like, why not give them to somebody that's their passion? That's the one thing they love to collect.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Nope, but don't tell me you collect Civil War, because I'm not sending you them.
Not gonna part with that. There's sometimes you just got to draw a line.
Actually, I can't say that because I sent Matt
some to the Penguin dig.
File. I sent some to Penguin. I sent some to Matt, and Mike Spicer won the Find of the Month last month.
Hey, that was a nice find he had.
It was gorgeous, and I PM'd him, and he's like, just send me whatever. I said, no, what don't you have that you want? Well, he wants a Civil War bullet, so I just got to look and decide which one I'm going to part with. But when I part with the bullet, I always put where it came from, and that I found it. I
nice.
think Matt Feel, whatever his name is.
File.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
I sent him a musket ball, a round ball, and I sent him a 3-ringer, and the 3-ringer was from Coles Hill, and the other one was from, I think, M Tree, which is on the backside of Brandy Rock. And so when I send Mike his, but I'm sending him something else too, I love my dad, but, there were some issues there. And my mom has given me a lot of things that were my dad's, and I'm like, that's nice, but I parted. I gave Matt Howell my dad's Canon, and I got another one over there for him. If I make it to DIV, he will get that one too. And he loved it. I mean, it was set in this nice wooden stand. It had a little gold plaque on what Canon it was a replica of, and I've got a second one for him. And so I have something else of my dad's that I'm going to send to Mike with his bullet.
Nice. Well, and I'm sure Mike's asking you, Mike was probably asking you if that comes sent complete with GPS coordinates.
No, I don't GPS anything, so he's just going to have to Google it himself.
Ah, okay. Well then. Either way, though, I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
Yes, and it's hard to believe that Britton Lockhart is 21 today.
Oh, that's right. Happy birthday to him.
I was, like, shocked when I seen he was 21. I'm like, I met that kid when he was freaking 16.
They grow up so fast.
I'm like, he can drink now. Oh, God help us.
Right. Well, hey, you know, what do you do?
But that just shows we're getting old people. And you know what? We can't take it with us. So, you know, besides Mark, Mark's older than dirt. He's like the oldest person I know. But a lot of the people I give my things to are a lot younger than me. And they're going to have them for many years, and hopefully they'll pass them on to somebody that loves it as much as they do.
Well, there you go. Yeah, definitely. And speaking of Britton, I do believe he's going to be an upcoming guest on Relics Radio.
He is on Thursday, him and Riley. And
that's
Becky
right.
Just joined the group. Hi, Becky. I didn't see you. Mark is not happy. I said he was older than dirt. But, hey, back at you for all the crap you give me.
Well, you want to be careful there with that magnetic personality. Mark's liable to be able to reach out and slap you with one of his magnets.
Oh, and Cody's saying, I'm younger than you. I'm younger than you. Okay, Cody, well, you have to find an engine first to get something from me.
Right, there's stipulations in place.
Well, with Cody, yeah. I mean, we've had this bet, 6-8 months now?
Yeah, probably. Actually, I'm surprised neither of you have found one yet.
And I'll tell you what, I was hunting down by the river, and I found a bunch of weeds, and the railroad came right across that property. If you watch the video from today at the river, the railroad came right across, and I got this signal, and I'm going, okay, that's a penny, but it's lower than a regular penny.
Ooh.
And it was it was an old copper penny, and I was like, dang it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, since you guys have made that bet, I've even dug a few Indians. You know, I mean, you know what they say, even a blind squirrel. Just saying.
Everybody has dug engines lately.
Right, except for you and Cody.
Except for me and Cody. Jeff Miller, I think, between him and Spicer, I'll bet they got 50 this year. It's like, will you guys stop?
Well, you know, Jeff's probably kind of cutting back a little bit now. He's looking for them silver spills. Which was a very, very nice find, I might add.
Mark is going to celebrate his 36-year anniversary on Tuesday. Congratulations.
Well, happy birthday, Mark. I mean, anniversary.
Oh, yeah, and Gordon's grandma turned 96 today. I seen her picture.
I know. Happy birthday to her.
It's like, man, and you know what? When life sucks, you got to look at all this good stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, shoot, at the rate I'm going, I'll never see 94.
I know. My mother's 83. I'm like, oh, Lord, how many more years is she going to torture us?
Barb!
No, I love my mother. I do. I talk to my mother 2 to 3 times a day. Her mother lived to almost 103.
Wow.
And my mother has no filter. She will tell you where to go, how to get there, and do her best to help you get there.
Right. No problem telling you again if you forgot.
And she's a hoot, but it's like I sit here and I think, you know, is she going to live to be 102? Because I don't know if I can. I don't even know if I'll be alive when she's 102.
Well, you know, long life must run in your family.
Yeah, well, my grandmother didn't smoke. She did drink. She loved her Cape Codders and her wine. My mother did smoke. She quit at 59, but she's never drank. Well, she did drink once, and I found her on the bathroom floor in a restaurant after a half of, what did she drink? A strawberry daiquiri. And so alcohol and her don't mix. So
probably a good reason why she doesn't do it.
Yeah, my dad was having, oh God, he had just had his massive heart attack and was having a cardiac cath at Peter Brent Brigham in Boston. And we went out to eat the night before, and she said, I got to have a drink. And said, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And so I went and got some more food. We were at this big seafood buffet, and I started eating. I'm thinking, where's my mother? So I grabbed our purses, and I go in the bathroom, and she's laying on the floor. And I went, this is not good.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She was a little sick.
Wow. Well, what do you do?
Yeah, so, but guys, if you find something and you think it's returnable or it's, you know, got initials on it, try to do it. Some things we can't. And yet, Mark says you should interview my mother. Oh, Lord, no, because if there's a fine for cuss words, Josh will go broke.
Well, maybe I'll have to put in safeguards to label the archive and the show and all of that, and then make sure to incorporate a swear jar.
I'm going to tell you what, she cusses like a trooper, and my dad was in the Coast Guard. He was a sailor, so he cussed a lot, and
right.
She's inappropriate verbiage at times, so no, my mom would not make a good guess.
Either that or do it off air and then spend the next, 4.5 weeks editing to make sure everything's cut out before it goes live.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. Mhm. Now, if I was sitting next to her or she was in my house, I could smack her, in between questions and say, don't cuss,
Right. Stop it.
But otherwise...
Right. Oh, where'd you go, Barb?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh.
I just took a breath. But, no, I love my mom. She's my best friend, so...
Well, there you
hopefully,
go.
And she's so hilarious because when I'm applying for jobs, she'll call me and go, did you get a job? I'm like, Mom, it's Saturday. Well, yeah, I didn't know if they emailed you. And, she has no clue at 83, When she worked, you basically went in and said, I need a job. They went, okay, when can you start?
Right.
It's a small town that knew everybody. So she has no clue about the real world out here.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, Mom, they got to do a background check on me, They may ask me to do a drug screen. I don't know. You know?
Right.
It's like, it don't work that way, Mom. You know, you got to go interview. You got to do this. You got to do that. And she's like, oh, okay.
Well, that's the way it goes anymore, though. They keep you on your toes with all of this stuff now, the background checks, drug screens, and credit checks, and everything else.
Per says he likes the idea of getting my mom on. The problem is my mom still works at 83, and she goes into work at 4:30 in the morning on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So that will not work well with Josh's show, so I apologize that she will not be able to be a guest.
Well, you never know. We can always pull some strings.
But she does still work, and she's hilarious. When I stopped by her work the day before I came home, and she's basically, what do you want? You know, I mean, and how her boss puts up with her, I guess no one else will go to work at 4:30 in the morning for, I think she makes $14 an hour. I'm not sure.
Well, see, good help's hard to find.
Yeah, she's like, what do you want? You know?
Right, I'm on the clock here. Make it quick.
Yeah, and she cracked me up. You know, and people go in there just because she knows everything. If something's going on that island, she knows it. And I walked in, and Jimmy Maurice, I haven't seen him since 79. And he walked in, he said, what the hell are you doing? I said, what the hell are you doing in here with my mom? He goes, oh, this is where it's happening. If something's going on, she's going to let us know.
Well, that's island folk for you, though.
No, she's like the vineyard vet.
Ah, I see. Well, one of these times we may... Oh, what?
Cody said my mom's making more money than him. She does, but she's on Martha's Vineyard. But she gets paid, either I think 14 something an hour, plus her tips. She works in a donut shop, slinging coffee, and she's like, and I hate this freaking espresso machine. She hates that thing with a passion.
Right. Well...
She don't use a computer. If she needs to order something, she makes my niece or my sister do it. Okay. She pays her bills by check, or she calls and does her debit card. She is total old school, and you know trust me, I should write a book from her memoirs. I'd probably be a millionaire.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Cody wants to know if my mom is single. Yes, she is. And you can marry her. You can date her. I don't care, Cody. Go. She's got a 4-bedroom house because me and my sister and brother own the house already. So have at her.
Hey, if he's lucky, he might find an Indian in her yard.
No, I've already pounded the heck out of it.
Okay. Oh, well, you know, one of these times we'll have to get Mark on to hear what he thinks about his magnet fishing adventures here he's been having lately. But
yeah,
that'll have to be for... Go ahead.
Those killer pliers he found, they were gold-plated. They were beautiful.
There you go. But that'll have to be for another time, because our time's about ran out.
Well, I love y'all, and thanks for everybody putting up with me. And I'm stressed, so this was a good de-stressor. It got my mind off things for a while. So I love y'all, and thank you, Josh. I really appreciate you.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate what you do, too, Barb.
And hopefully I'll have a contract tomorrow, and I'll be helping to make great nurses again. My start date is the 16th, which is the first day of classes. So it's going to be hit the ground running.
Well, fingers crossed and keep us posted.
Oh, you'll hear it on Facebook. If everything goes well, I get my contract, I do my tour, I figure I'll be out of there maybe 4 or 5-ish. I will pull over in the first place I have a good signal to freaking post it.
There you go. All right.
And
Thanks.
Cody just grounded me because he's already hooked up with my mom, so I've got to go.
Uh-oh. Well, we'll have to work on that. Thanks for the call, Barb.
Love you. Bye.
We'll see you. Well, so, yeah, our time's kind of ran on here. It's probably time to go, and, you know, who knows where the adventure leads us, what the next episode may have in store. Until then, though, like I said, check out our friends over at Extreme Scoops, Shooters and Prospectors, Detector Pro. Those Equinox headphones are just around the corner. Think about it. Wait a little bit. Patience is a virtue. And if you enjoyed the show, make sure and throw us a like right here. You can follow us on Spreaker, iTunes, the Beyond Sight and Sound page, many of the other wonderful Facebook groups out there on Facebook. You can join us on all of them, one of them, or none of them. The choice is entirely up to you. But hopefully, we'll see you on the next one. Have a wonderful evening, folks. We're out of here.